I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence. Okay. Alrighty. So we have a couple of announcements this evening. Our next Mayor and Town Council meeting will be right here, same time on September 9th. We have volunteer opportunities on the Historic District Commission, the BZA, the Police Auxiliary. We still need a crossing guard, and school's getting ready to start again, so that would be a good time to get a crossing guard. So you can email town@sykesville.net for more information about volunteering with the town. Public comments. So let me read my little thing tonight. So as we get started, we'd like to inform everyone of some of the changes we made to help the meetings run smoothly, professionally, and show respect for everybody's time. So for anyone here tonight that would like to make a comment, please fill out the comment card and hand it to the town clerk. You have the option of addressing the council or having the town clerk read your comment into the record during the meeting. If you are addressing a new item, please come up to the podium during the public comment period if you have a statement to make. Also note that public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person, and to maintain decorum during the meetings, please do not speak from the audience. If you have questions or comments that arise during the meeting, you can see our interim town manager, Frank Schaefer, after the meeting, and he'll help you out with those. If anyone is here presenting this evening, when your item arises, please come up to the podium, state your name and affiliation prior to beginning. We appreciate your cooperation this evening. So. Alrighty. Now back to the agenda. Alright, so are there any public comments this evening? Okay. Alright, so we have reports. Up next, treasurer's report first. Evelyn, you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. Evelyn Sweet, Town Treasurer. I have emailed you all the June Treasurer's report and made a few comments in there. I don't have any further comments to make at this time, but I will like to answer any questions that you have. I did want to make the comment that all departments came in under budget in FY19. Does anybody have any questions about the report?
No, I'm good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty easy.
It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for all the department heads that are here and the ones that aren't here for doing a good job with the budgets. I appreciate that. As always, I think all of us appreciate that very much. All right. Next is public safety. I think that's you, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, can we get a motion to approve the...
Oh, thank you. We have a
Motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you, Carrie, for keeping us on point here. All right, Chief, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. Chief Pauling.
Good evening.
We're going to talk about the public safety report covering the period July 8th through August 4th. We have a total of 649 incidents or events during that time period. I'll just highlight a few of those. 28 assist other agencies, 7 community policing initiatives, 43 foot patrols, 22 incident reports, 360 patrol checks, 65 traffic enforcement initiatives. Again, a total of 649 events for that period. Certainly entertain any questions you may have about any of the incident reports contained in pages 2 and 3 of your packet. Do you have any?
Any questions?
I don't know. Not about the reports. No.
I think you probably noticed there was a few incidents at the complex across the street. I'm happy to report that we've seen some beginning of some efforts to deter criminal activity over there. I believe they're getting ready to put in, they had the fence posts installed. I believe they're getting ready to put a fence up that will greatly keep people out, especially if they fence off that whole quadplex there. Keep people from getting in there. So it's the first step, hopefully of many. And that we could use to help us in there, you know, I think.
Have they put together a security plan yet, like a whole plan?
We
of-
talked about it.
Yeah, I know.
Quite a
We
long
talked
time
about it
ago,
for a long time, right.
With fencing, security cameras, better lighting, and again, I think this is just the first step, you know, with fencing. So hopefully there'll be further steps to come in the near future, because I think we'll continue to have these type of graffiti and other, you know, other incidents there until we better fortify that area.
Okay, well, I think it's good to put everybody on notice that we're increasing the security,
Yes.
and we're gonna start
Continue
taking
our
further
projects
action.
there. Officer Kirtner, as always, is the one that seems to always find any damage or graffiti there. He does a very good job keeping a close eye on it, so very fortunate to have him.
So not a question, but a thank you for assisting DNR for some of the inquiries that happened down River Road. You know, I had the opportunity to walk there very recently, and it looks like there's even some new signage up. And so thank you for your efforts with that. Appreciate it.
Sure. Absolutely. You're welcome.
I have a quick question about the graffiti. I'm hoping that it's just kids, not something serious, or in light of what's been going on in the larger community and larger world. It's not hate-filled, I hope.
It's not hate-filled, and we don't feel any of it was gang-related. Some of it was obscene. So, I mean, most of the
Teenage
kids-
boys are teenage boys, but
Yeah.
I'm worried about violence, is what I meant.
Right, of course.
Good, we're not.
Nothing that
Very good.
indication of any kind of violent
Thank you.
groups there
Excellent.
so far. Yes. A couple other things I'd like to hit on real quickly. Our recruiting efforts are still underway. We have finally identified 2 candidates that we want to move forward with. So that's good news. It's been, as I told you, I think last time, it's been a tough process. But when we have identified 2, we are going to move forward with interviews, and we'll select one from there, and hopefully a conditional offer, and everything will run smoothly, unlike last time. So that's good news. Lieutenant Cox from our auxiliary was going to be here tonight just to say a few things about what he's done since he's been back from his deployment. I just can't say enough positive about what he's done. You saw his presence there with his auxiliary officers at National Night Out. He's just done an amazing job with adding to the group, getting them better trained, better organized. Just can't say enough positive. So I would like to get him maybe before you, maybe in September, just to allow him to speak to some of the things he's done since he's been back. I think you'll be impressed.
Sure.
We're
Yeah,
very
no,
fortunate
it was
to have him.
great talking to him at National Night Out, and yeah, he had a really good plan, and I think it's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Especially with what we're paying him, I think.
yeah, no, it's pretty
a heck of a
amazing.
bargain there.
Yeah,
Yes.
so thanks a lot. Yeah, we definitely want to have him out at the September meeting, and that would be awesome. And so, yeah, thank you. And then while we're on the topic, thank you so much for all your help for National
I was
Night
just
Out.
gonna
and all.
say, I think it was a huge success.
Yeah.
Commissioner Rothstein and I were talking about it, anywhere from, 500, 700, 1,000, it's hard to gauge how many people were there just based upon, looking at the crowd, and it was kind of spread out. But all in all, very well attended, very positive comments. Thank you all to those of you that showed up to support us. I thought it went very well.
Yeah, no, so it was amazing having Paula and everybody come together at the last minute, and
Yes.
because I don't know if y'all knew, but
Paula Schuyler
Ellen
and
Dix
Don
has been
Champ,
having some
yeah,
challenges,
they
and
stepped right in, and
yeah.
we're a huge.
Yeah, the
factor.
Lions Club, we can't
Yeah.
thank them enough.
Yeah.
Everybody came up, so it was really cool, man, to
Yeah.
get everybody to come together, really like in less than 60 days, to
Absolutely.
do everything that Ellen did all year long, so it's pretty amazing.
Looking forward to next year already.
Yep,
Hopefully we'll keep that team together.
yeah, they agreed to help out, so
Well.
I'm glad we got some folks working on it, but yeah, so
We didn't have
thanks.
that in writing, but,
Yeah.
we'll certainly hold them to that.
Legally binding.
And lastly, I just
We'll
want to
get it
say,
notarized.
our junior CSI is on track. Those dates are September 17th, September 24th, October 2nd, and October 8th. We've already got 25 applicants already.
Wow.
So it's filling up quickly. We got a great agenda this year. We've made a couple of additions to the agenda, to the program. We've got a canine dog from the sheriff's office is going to be part of our program, which will be new for this year. I think the kids will love that, just seeing learning how the dogs track items and people and things things of that nature.
Yeah, that's
The whole
cool.
Crime scene element there, so.
Chief, can you, and since this is being televised, remind everyone the age?
Middle school age, yeah, we targeted towards Sykesville Middle School, but we also opened it up to other area middle schools. Problem there is with the logistics of getting the kids there right after school and picking them up later.
Sure.
So it works out well for Sykesville Middle School students. But those are our target audience, and that works out well, because they just stay after school.
Perfect.
We have to have a person there just to keep an eye on them for that 1 hour period. The program runs from 4 to 6:30. But then the parents just come pick them up afterwards, and that works out pretty well. Again, kudos to Sykesville Middle School and their staff for allowing us the use of the facility, you know, the cafeteria, even the IT room where we run some of our presentations in there. It's just very easy for us to come there and hold the program with plenty of space. And of course, we use some of the outside space as well for some of our mock crime scenes and canine demonstration and things of that nature. So it's a perfect location. So looking forward to it. This will be the 11th year.
What day of the week is that, Chief?
Well,
Or is it
it
go all
used
over
to
the
be on Tuesdays. We had to make a change because there were some holidays there, some professional days at school that kind of threw us off. So the first two were Tuesdays, and I think the October 2nd day is a Wednesday, I believe.
Okay.
And the last day, the final day is a Tuesday.
Okay.
So, we like to keep it the same day of
Yeah.
the week, but we had to make that change. So.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's all I have. Appreciate your time.
Oh, and, yep, no, any other questions?
Just real
before I
quick,
get done? Yep.
speed trailer, is that active?
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. We do have it on
Me too.
Springfield. Actually, I wanted to mention that as part of our first day of school activities. We're going to have a strong presence, as always, on the first day of school. We'll make the kids feel safe. We'll have an officer out on overtime. I'll be there. We'll have auxiliary out. And we'll also have the speed trailer set up on Springfield just to remind people to slow down on that stretch of road, especially during.
So you were able to get it fixed, I guess, and get it all squared away?
Say again?
You were able to get it all
Yeah,
fixed?
we were. Thanks to Mark Onheiser. I got to give Mark credit.
All right.
It was a charging unit we had to send away to the manufacturer and they sent us a replacement at no cost.
Oh, cool.
Still under that warranty period. So it's back up and running. It's on Springfield now. I think Jason was going to turn that on tonight, so it should be on this evening as you leave. So we're up and running again.
All right, that's great.
It's a great tool.
Yep.
It's a great tool. So.
Good, thanks.
Any other questions for the chief? And then I just want to thank you guys for going down for John Williams' service too. So I don't know if y'all knew about that, but anyway, so yeah, thanks for having a presence there for us. Appreciate that.
It was an honor to be there representing the town.
Yeah, so,
I'm sure the family appreciated it. very much.
yeah.
Good.
All right. I think that's it.
Awesome.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks.
And we do have a special guest here tonight, so Commissioner Ed Rothstein is here tonight. He's gonna talk to us a little bit, give us some updates of things at the county, and then he's going down to Mako, so we're gonna talk to him about some things for
Exactly.
us.
So,
for-
I appreciate it, and welcome to the new councilman. Congratulations. I think I've met you yet, so congratulations. It is my intent to get here once a month. So we do bi-weekly starting in September. My intent will be to get here at least once a month throughout the year. The intent is to share kind of candid thoughts, what's on my mind, happening in the county over the last couple of weeks at that point, and then kind of bring it down into Sykesville. First, bigger than county, the horrific acts that happened in El Paso and Dayton. I mean, were just horrible, and the impact that it has to us. I mean, you see it all over social media. Now, the reason I'm sharing that is that happened on Saturday, and then on Tuesday, we did have National Night Out, and it was across the county. It was magnificent. Thousands of folks participated in National Night Out from Towntown, Hampstead, a handful in Westminster, and obviously here in Sykesville and Aldersburg. Real kudos to the town, to to the chief, along with Fire and Freedom Lions. I'm a Freedom Lion myself, so I was handing out French fries and doing as much as I could. But it was just a great activity that really showed the partnership between our police, our fire, EMS, and the community. And that's what we need to continue to do, is show that confidence that those in uniform, red and blue, are out there. Because a couple days later, what happened Walmart on 26 gets robbed. It was an armed robbery. And if you haven't read the article that the sheriff shared his very candid thoughts in the Carroll County Times, I recommend you do, because they were very candid. And since that article, the sheriff and I have a meeting with corporate Walmart on Thursday, okay? And they're already looking at beefing up security in the Walmart. Again, you're not going to stop crime when crime's going to happen, but the idea here is to share and continue to provide the confidence to the community that we are listening and we are taking action on doing something. So I do applaud the sheriff for that. And the idea is to get the eyes and ears out there, because he nor the chief or any of us can be everywhere. So the more the community can reach out, the better we are. A couple of things real quick. 32, as you know, is being widened, especially north of here by the National Guard Readiness Center, all the way up to Pizza Hut. That's a one-year project. State Highway is doing a great job with everything they're doing, and most importantly with State Highway, and I'm going to move into specifically in Sykesville, is they are sharing with us the activities that they're doing. The lead engineer, John Kincannon, has been very responsive, along with Craig Slater, the administrator for State Highway. Which leads me into 851. The three state highways in my district, our district here, is 32, 26, and 851 Main Street. So working with your team and ensuring that we understand what the requirements are and the priorities, and then conveying that to the administrator, to Craig Slater, along with John Kincannon, we're going to get things done. I'll be down in Mako, as the mayor said, the Maryland Association of Counties Conference this week. And I'm meeting with the secretary, Ron, along with the administrator and John, to talk about priorities in the county. This is my number one priority for District 5, is 851. And I made that very clear to them. So continue to remind me the 300,000, and more specifics, the better. Along with the intersection between Oklahoma and Main Street, concern. And we're talking to Terry Seuss about that, as you know. And what ideas can be used to minimize the angst on that corner, on that intersection. Painting, the line painting, that kind of stuff is one step. But there's other ideas that are being floated around. So the other thing inside of Sykesville specific is Warfield. And so I am talking with the developer over at Warfield. I'm talking to the builders over at Warfield and the townhomes, the Lenore townhomes, or Elm Street and Lenore, along with our economic developer, Jack Lyburn, on trying to promote and bring more business into Warfield. So that, along with your team, has been doing a great job continuing to promote it. We have a long ways to go. I have 100% confidence in your team and the work that you're doing, so I appreciate that. And we're just going to keep moving forward. I am meeting with Secretary Holt, which is housing secretary, on Friday down in Mako, specifically about Warfield, to hear what the secretary has to share, because I'm not as confident as maybe the developers on what needs to go in there, what can go in there. So we're going to go from there. So I'm meeting with him and his team. Others that I'm meeting with, so if you have input you want to provide me for this week, I'm meeting with Environment, Labor, Commerce, DGS, along with housing on my own, and then we're meeting with transportation as a team. So if there's issues that you believe that you want me to carry for you, that's something that I can easily do, not just this week, but any time, to help navigate through some of this process. So with that, are there any questions? I mean, the idea is not just to be a one-stop shop here, be available for you.
Could I invite you to participate in the planning commission meetings from time to time as well?
Absolutely.
So what I'm concerned about is he and I talk and she and I talk, and the trouble is if we don't close the loop, there's always a chance of, oh, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about it. If we're all hearing the same words at the same time, there will be fewer misunderstandings.
And a lot of times what I'll do is, if I get the feedback that there may be some misunderstandings or we need to get together, is getting a team, whether it's Tom Devilbiss or Linda Eisenberg or Clay or Jay, somebody from the county down here to the planning committee as well, and then they carry it back to me. But yeah, trust me, if I'm available, I'll make it happen.
Thank you.
So, anything else? Good group?
And we do have our Carroll County representative attending those meetings too, right?
Yes,
I mean,
but
so they're
I'm
coming.
saying if
Yeah.
something,
Okay.
No, it's good.
If they're
to
not
have them come down.
talking-
I just meant, yeah,
I'm worried
Yeah.
that they'll come and say one thing and then we'll,
Right.
oh, something has happened you weren't made aware of.
right.
I'm a big believer in just 5 minutes of talking can solve several hours worth of meetings.
Absolutely. I guess the last thing is the park across the tracks, which is
Right.
in Sykesville, in Howard County, not in Carroll County. However, it is something that I can continue to engage with
Did invite
you,
Ed to that meeting,
with Howard County.
The one coming up on the 20th or
Yep.
what have you. So
And,
you did put that on the schedule.
I did. I put it on my calendar. You told me about it. But Senator Hester is our senator down here, along with Delegates Warren Miller and Frank Kittleman. I'm talking a lot with Senator Hester lately, and she has been very much engaging and responsive. And she'll be down there this week as well. So I want to make sure she understands what's going on for the next
She definitely
discussion.
understands, and she's
Yeah.
been helping us try to get wherever she can
Yep.
with ideas on grants and things. Though
Exactly.
she had some of the RIM PIF grants they're called, but I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they just weren't. They're not that great of grants, but she's trying.
Yeah,
She also recommended the Six to Fix
Right.
Yep.
grant
Yeah, that's
opportunity,
right.
which we
Yep.
applied for, so.
Yep.
She's been
Fingers
doing all
crossed.
kinds of help with this, and
Yeah.
so thank her for all her help and support.
Absolutely.
There. But yeah, if you guys can work together, so I think that's the whole plan is to get everybody we're starting to gel together a
Yeah.
group of folks that are working on maybe a
Yeah.
public-private partnership on that. So yeah, it'll be
Sounds
exciting.
good. Last comment, I think, is we have a legislative meeting coming up the end of August. So we will be meeting with the entire legislation representing Carroll County from District 5, District 9 Alpha, District 4, coming together with the county staff and the county team of commissioners to talk about legislative actions that we recommend from a team to go forward, along with potential bond bills for the state funding for different projects. Bond bills can be used, it's state money for nonprofits and government activities, community activities like parks and, well, it's capital projects, it's building things. So I have a list. I have a list from the community that has reached out to me on ideas. I have a list from things that I believe are priorities, like more beds for drug rehabilitation, and things like that. If there's ideas that you have or you hear of, share them with us, because the last thing I want is to go to this table with the legislators, have the conversation, and then somebody say, well, what about this? Okay? So the more you are proactive, let me know. I'll carry that for you, so.
When's that meeting date again?
It's the end of August. It's either like 28th or somewhere around there. I'll look at my calendar. I know
Yeah,
it's
let
the
me
end
know,
of
because
August.
I think one of the things we were trying to do is get the mayors to meet with the legislators, maybe that same day before them. So we were gonna try to reach out to them and see, or
Okay.
later, after you guys meet, if they could just
Yeah.
give us a little bit of time.
I'll let you know that. I know it's on the calendar, but
Yeah, so that would be awesome.
that's an important one, to give them as much information as possible to carry forward, okay?
Doesn't always work out as great for us, simply because our legislators usually don't come to that, because it's Carroll and
Senator Hester will.
she probably will, yep, so,
I
yep.
can, and, well, last time I think she came and, Delegate Kittleman attended.
Okay, cool. All
Late
right.
December, so, yeah, I'll keep pushing it.
All right.
Cool, thanks.
Great.
Thank you.
Ed, thank you so much. Thanks for, and then, I think we'll talk in the morning, Frank, maybe, if you got anything that you're thinking about, send that to Frank tonight.
Was my next
We're gonna
question.
try to talk to, in the morning and get, some things, cause, again, we've talked to State Highway about this drainage issue coming out of Springfield Central. And they already have made commitments to fix their stormwater inlet drains at the corner of, Sandusky and Main Street. That's a pretty bad one. And then at the Springfield and Spout Hill intersections. But our conversations were to try to tie in that water at Central, and they're saying that they're not a big fan of doing that. So I don't know, but they need another $300,000 for design money, and she did say that it would be important to have Ed bring that up at Mako, so that's part of our goal, was to try to get that on the radar at least. And then I know there's a couple other things, but if you got anything else, try to get them to Frank tonight, and then we'll talk in the morning and try to get you out some things, some talking points, Ed. So
When you mentioned the 20th of August, were you speaking of the?
the meeting that we're
park
gonna have
inauguration?
in the morning with it might not be the
It's
20th,
not-
26th.
Okay,
Okay, that's the meeting.
I wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same
for
page,
okay.
26th, so I gave him the right date, but yeah, he's got the right date, so we're gonna have, because, I don't know if you know, but we've been working, just so you guys, I think we updated you about the South Branch stuff with the meeting with the, so, thought it'd be a good idea to start bringing him in, there's a couple other, folks that we talked about, so I'm working on that too, but.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so, council committee reports, guess we'll start down with you, Stacy.
Okie dokie. Let me pull up my notes. Regarding the Sykesville Parks and Recreation Committee, Sykesville Cinema presented Wonder Woman last Friday and had 45 attendees. We had much more luck this summer with the weather, so,
Couldn't have got any worse.
well, it couldn't have. I think every single one of them were rained out
Yes.
last year, and with only one rain date to replace 3 rainouts, it wasn't feasible. In any event, this year was great, and the Sykesville Cinema will conclude on October 12th with a spooktacular double feature. First will be for the little guys or for the adults with very young hearts like myself. The Great Pumpkin, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown will be first, and then Beetlejuice will be the second feature. Again, that's October 12th at sundown. All movies are, of course, free of charge to the public, and the Snack Shack will be open for sales. And then finally, Concerts in the Park series was a huge success this summer. We had 4 concerts, and Spark's next event is September 15th. At 9 a.m. when Spark is partnering again with Branches of Yoga for Yoga in the Park at Millard Cooper Park. And a shout out to our auxiliary police, as per the usual. Thank you, Chief. Got a wonderful thing going on down there once a month with the movies, and once a month with the concerts, and twice in 1 month in July. And the auxiliary police are always there to make sure everybody's safe. And so thank you.
Summer doldrums, no action items, no meeting, no problem.
That's great.
DSC, we did not have a board meeting in July. Our next one is August 19th. And tomorrow at 7 o'clock at Market Tavern, there is a promotions committee meet and greet and volunteer drive at Market Tavern, 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Okay.
All right, the businesses met Friday the 26th. Discussion, auxiliary police were going to be present at the First Friday events as long as they are available. They talked about the First Friday event in August, which was the sidewalk sale. Cider stroll was discussed. Justin Burke was coming through town August 7th.
And he did.
And he did.
Yep.
August
Schedule.
August 19th, the businesses has been invited to the Developers at Warfield presentation with the DSC on August 19th. And there was Christmas events were discussed. The 12 Hours of Christmas is going to be December 6th. Mary Main Street's still being worked on, just general discussion. The next meeting is Friday, August 30th.
What time was the meeting on the 19th with the Warfield and DSC?
So
I'm not sure.
developers are presenting at 7:30.
Okay, thank you.
I think you were saying the meeting starts at 6.
The meeting
right?
starts at 6, but that's a general board meeting, and then
Right.
developers at 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I did talk to Jack White, so we were going to set up a meeting on a Friday coming up, and I'll get some more info for you. I think they still had the porch talks this weekend as well, so keep an eye out for those. Sign up for the news flash, and you'll get those. And then I got to talk to Pat Greenwald too, but I'm making progress. So I have more info in September's meeting.
Historic District did not meet in the month of July. Our next meeting is Tuesday, August 27th, 7 o'clock here in the townhouse, if we have anything on the agenda.
I met with the Raincliff Homeowners Association on July 17th. It was a very good first introductory meeting. We actually did a little tour prior to the actual meeting, so we showed up at 6, and then the meeting started at 7 at the American Legion. I did come away with 8 different action items from the meeting. I've been working with the town in reference to them. They had interest in renewing their agreement regarding trash. They had some questions about a tot lot and drainage. They had a question about sidewalk maintenance. They had a question about some connections with the county for some other projects that they had. They had a question about working with and trying to build something like a pavilion of sorts up towards the top of the hill off of Willow Bottom. And I had said that I would work with the town to see whether or not there's any grant that we could kind of direct them to assist with. And they also had interest in, they had heard that Westminster had a connection with Ting, which is a FiOS type of connection. That's not something that we have down here in Sykesville. And I have it on my to-do list to get in contact with someone up in Westminster. And I understand that that's something that the town has wanted for a long time. And so it's something that is on the to-do list, and I'll provide information back once I have it. And then they also had interest in a couple of like welcome package type of ideas. So one had to do with when folks are there was maybe 4 or 5 different properties for sale at Raincliff. And when you have new folks come in, is there an ability to essentially welcome them to the community in some kind of way? So that's one idea that's there. And then another idea is are there any services that we could connect them with different volunteers? And so we have the new Community Hub webpage. And so I have some items I've been working with the town on. The town's got back to me on several of them. And I'll be working with eventually the new town manager, the permanent one, on, I'm sure, a growing list of action items that we work with them. But I do owe them a response, and I'll probably be sending it out in the next week or two.
Great, thanks, Jeremiah. So,
And then the next meeting, the next meeting is in September. It's on the 18th.
yep, so clearly that was a valuable thing to get connected, because you can see there's a lot of stuff going on over there. And I think I talked to Commissioner Rothstein about internet stuff, about trying to get, and I know the county itself has challenges. There's a lot of places that don't have any internet, believe it or not. I mean, you don't have to go too far. You can go right off 97 and there's no Comcast. So I know it's a struggle going to, in the larger conversation of talking about, we want high speed, higher speed. And they're like, we just want internet, period. So, but I think there's fiber there that I know that it's at Warfield, but, and I don't know what lighting that up and bringing that into like the town, but I think it'd be awesome to get it to Main Street, to get it to, at least to our business folks. I don't know if, while Ed's here, he can be here in this conversation, but it's right there where they are. I don't know if there's a way to make it profitable where you're like, hey, we got fiber here, it's $200 a month, and they're like, hey, if we're working from home, they need it, but then it helps offset the cost to bring it to your business folks cheaper, because I think that's what it's all about. It's all about money. That's why FiOS isn't here. It's because it's too much to run the fiber for how many subscribers you're going to get.
But like I said, about a year and a half ago, I as a private citizen asked, Ting, when you come into my town? And they said, not enough people. But that changes with time. I'm hoping that their answer is it's worth considering now.
Right. So it's going to be an interesting conversation, and this is where 5G is going to be an interesting conversation as well. So it's coming. All right. So our first item is the consent agenda. Has everybody looked at these items? Anybody want to pull anything off? Or?
Yes. I would like to pull off the first item, minutes from July 15th.
Okay. All right. Everything else okay? Okay with any other items? Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda without item number 1.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, and then I guess you want to discuss item number 1?
I have to abstain, I wasn't here. That's the
Okay,
only reason.
gotcha, perfect. All right, so then,
Motion to approve the minutes of July 15th, 2019.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes.
Okay, all right, the minutes are approved.
Goodness.
Thanks, Anna. All right, and then our first open session item is the 2019-63, and this is the introduction of the charter amendment for employee hiring. So we've had a chance, I think we've talked about this back in the past, and it was just a matter of getting it all put together, so thanks, Frank, for working on that.
So let me, so it was an item that was discussed, actually it was my first meeting here in April, and so, kind of slipped by me for a little bit, so I want to, get it back on track. I was working with Dennis's and his folks, and we were literally working on it right up to before the meeting. And I'll let him explain, but there's actually 6 amendments that go with this. A couple things that you wanted to have some authorities or powers given to the clerk and the director of public works, but they were not charter positions. So one of the things that's being done is being amended to bring those into the charter. The treasurer's responsibilities were actually a combination of clerk and treasurer responsibilities, so we're amending that job description a little bit, so that now the treasurer's job duties are treasury related, clerk's job duties are clerk related, director of public works duties are public works directed. The chief was already in there, and the town manager was already in there. So that's one thing. And then it was just the wording to make the hiring and termination procedures work. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Dennis, and you can jump
The
in.
reason why there's 6 resolutions is because by Maryland state law, if you deal with a charter provision, you have to.
We're on TV tonight, so yeah. Can you please come to the podium, sir?
Announce your name.
Announce your name and state your affiliation. No, I'm just kidding.
Superintendent.
Okay, thank you.
The reason why there's 6 resolutions is because state law requires that each amendment to a charter be separately provided, and there are 6 separate sections of our charter that are being amended. I think Frank has done a pretty good job of summarizing the purpose. First resolution is to establish the various departments that we have, picking up the treasurer's department, the clerk's department, the Board of Public Works, and the resolutions then following that all pertain to hiring and firing of town employees, which call for the hiring to be done by the department heads and the firing to be done by the department heads and the town manager. For the town manager, when he participates, either the department head or the town manager can initiate a termination, but we want 2 people to be deciding on termination. I would tell you that you should all look at the employee handbook before the next meeting and communicate with Frank about your thoughts about the process of termination, because our employee handbook calls for and allows for an appeal to the town council, and the question of whether the town council wants to participate in the termination of employees at that level. So if there's some termination where the employee feels aggrieved, what is the process? Okay, there will be, of necessity, some amendments necessary to the personnel handbook to into the new charter amendments, so that we're not in any kind of conflict. But worth considering the role of the town council, particularly in termination of employees. The rest of it's pretty much self-explanatory.
Can the employee handbook link be sent out to all of us? So
Yeah,
we can
I
take a
will
look at
get
it?
that into your possession.
Thank you.
And it's a relatively small area of the handbook that deals with the grievance process. So you're only looking at 2 or 3 pages. It's not the whole handbook that you need to look at.
I'd like to see the whole thing, yeah.
Will it be in a PDF format
Yes, I would think.
so
it
we
would
can
be.
search? Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
I did have a question on, I think it's page 1, that's on the top copy, and just because it's not underlined. The section B, or the section C-19B amended, that's where we're adding in the extra
department heads.
Right,
you
if
will,
it's in all caps, it's an addition.
Got it.
If it's bolded and in a bracket, it's a deletion,
Okay, great.
okay? On what's the clean copy, I think you also got red lines, but that's just to show, because there were revisions that were coming out after you got your first draft, so,
They just have the compare.
Oh, okay, okay.
They just have the compare.
all right.
Thank you.
And I think just for you guys that are new onto the council, I think the plan was for us to actually empower the staff to be able to make some of these lower level decisions without every employees to have to come before the mayor and town council, and it got to be a little bit cumbersome for day-to-day operations, and we felt it was important to let the department heads and the manager take care of that. And at the same time, while we were updating the charter, we wanted to protect some of our more important employees from, you don't want to come home one day and they're like, hey, we fired the police chief. And you're like, what? Well, I'd like to talk about that a little bit. So these kind of things, we wanted to make sure that they were kind of protected the department, and so that we could have that in there. So just to give you a little backstory of why this came about.
Makes sense.
Yep. All right, so, and then these take some time anyway, so, right, once we introduce these, don't they take?
Yeah, so
like, yeah.
if you introduce it tonight, then the first opportunity to have a hearing on it would be the first meeting in September. If you decided you wanted to look at it a little bit longer, then we'd try and get into the second meeting of September, but the first meeting of September.
We have to publish 21 days in advance.
Yeah.
For the hearing, notice of the hearing.
Right. So would it make sense to review these and wait? How does everybody feel about this? I mean, it's not super urgent, but
Yeah, I think we review it and.
Why don't we review
sounds
it
like
and
it
then
would be
we'll
the
read-
second September or second.
yeah, so
meeting in September.
we'll introduce them at the 9th meeting
Okay.
instead of tonight. So
Then
since we got
that'll-
them kind of late.
That'll push it to October.
That'll push it to the
Yeah.
October till you can adopt it.
For adoption.
Yeah,
And that's fine.
that should probably be okay.
I just wanted to give you the option
Yes.
of, if you wanted to push it ahead, you could do it tonight, but I
Okay.
understand you will look at it.
Yeah, no, that's probably good to have everybody look at it, and then I think that'll be actually pretty good timing from what's
Yeah.
going on in the situation to get that in place. Right
And
before.
in the meantime, you'll send us the.
Tomorrow you will have the handbook in your possession, so that'll put you in a good position to look at next meeting.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, and then I think that's it for tonight. I didn't have a big agenda, so we do have council and manager comments. Any more comments this evening? Anything, Frank, that you got? Any comments?
Well, I do want to run through a few things. The town staff has been pretty busy, and I just wanted to highlight a few things that each of the town staff have been working on. As far as the executive assistant, Jana, she's been working on 3 different development projects. Since I've been here, we've had a little run of small subdivision projects, so she's learning that process a little better. And with the passing of Bob Bond, there's a little bit of a shift in how we're looking at developments, and I'm going to work with the Carroll County Bureau of Development Review and get more of that being done through the Carroll County Bureau of Development Review processing, because they have the ability to receive plans, distribute plans, and coordinate comments. The agencies overlap in terms of what's being done, so I think it'll make it a more effective process for people that are going through it. And so we're gonna work that out here with this next period. And
I really like that, and if you want to share a little bit more on that, I think Frank's suggestion was to maybe send it to Carroll County first, because if you go to Carroll County first, they're going to do the review, and then they can get through a lot of the stuff that we may not even get down to that level yet, and then it can come back to us and be a lot. Is that correct?
yeah, and the town will retain its review
Absolutely,
capabilities,
yeah.
and ultimately the approval resides here. It's planning commission approvals, but it'll relieve the staff here of trying to make up a development, master the development review process when there's really a good one already in place. So that's what I'm going to try and work on here, and have that in place.
We had very good success with that, with one of the last plans that came through with Warfield when I participated on the planning commission. That's something that I absolutely support. Nice job putting it together.
So we'll be doing that. We have a couple code violations, which I won't go into the details that we're looking at right now. But code enforcement is an interesting thing because the language is pretty arcane and you have to read it forwards and backwards to to make sure you're interpreting it right. So that's some things that Jana's doing. Evelyn didn't mention, but I'm going to mention a few things for her. We had the auditors in here working this month, and she did a nice job providing them with data and keeping that process rolling. So I know that's a pain for our treasurer, but she did a nice job updating the stabilization policy and also working on the policy about the 25% for the CIP spending. That's some things that the council had indicated they wanted to do, so we're working on developing those things. Mark, as far as his duties this month, he spent a lot of time trimming trees. We have a number of trees go down. Around the parking lot, the Sandusky lot, there's locust trees or black locusts are nice trees, but they splinter and tops blow out of them, and they really shouldn't be around any place you have parking or buildings because sooner or later they're going to fall into them. So he did a lot of clearing of trees this month as a result of storm damage, and trying to be a little proactive and get rid of some ones that we think they look like they're leaning or are not in good shape. The gatehouse structural repairs, we got the bids in for that. Still reviewing them. They're a little, we're not quite comfortable with the two parties that submitted, so we're checking references and doing a little more checking on them before we award it. So that's still underway. Townhouse, the exterior painting and estimates like that. He's done a good job of getting some proposals in, and he's still evaluating them. There's a big discrepancy, you know. So he's very busy with that. Paving contract is expected to start August 27th, so that's when you start seeing paving. Probably should just let Derek talk about whatever you wanted to since he's here. But
Derek?
Come on up
Nice
there,
thing.
Derek.
I didn't dress for it.
Just for the
You can only see the top
for
down, don't worry,
comfort.
we're good.
Derek Street, Public Works Director.
Thank you for coming, by the way.
No problem, no
We
problem.
very much appreciate it.
A couple of things. State was supposed to be here Friday to sweep the streets. The guy called out sick, didn't let anybody know, so he's gonna be here Wednesday. So we'll run the whole smear again, and they'll get Main Street and Springfield swept for us.
That's awesome, thanks for doing that. Yeah,
You
that's
may
great.
want to mention there's going to be no parking on Main Street.
No parking on Main Street again, 3 to 9, that's the window they give us, so, 9 to 3, excuse me, 9 to 3.
3 9 are your hours.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you noticed, but they're running the final grades on Shannon Run, so they're almost done there. Along that line, had some issues with the trail right there with some water running over. We think with the help of Mark, we got that resolved so that spot where the couple of residents were getting their shoes muddy should be cleaned up.
Actually, can I jump in there?
Yeah.
Something that came up at our Sparks meeting, our last Sparks meeting, was a question regarding replanting, tree replanting after all of this.
Yeah, the county's got a plan for that, and it's probably on the set of plans that were submitted originally, but
Okay.
judging from what happened at Hawk Ridge, those plans are, can change. So, because those plantings haven't even occurred over there yet, so there'll be something done, but I'm not just sure exactly where it's gonna end up. So.
Okay.
Replanting for what, I'm sorry, because of storms or because of?
The
No,
clearing of the.
Oh, that's right, all the trees in the back by the old.
basically soil stabilization,
Yeah.
stabilization besides just the grass, there'll be some tree plantings and try and get it back to what it was at, somewhat similar. What's that?
A more natural environment.
Yes, exactly. And they did some extra work out there. There was some problems with some manholes and some erosion that were in the storm drains leading into Shannon Run. So that whole area, if you haven't been down there, it's really pretty interesting and amazing what they've done. Not exactly sure at how close to the time schedule they kept, but it's done now. So other than that, I don't know if you got any questions for me.
Thanks for cleaning up the weeds on Main Street. Appreciate that.
Yeah. We did some more Friday in preparation for the street sweeper, but again, they'll be here Wednesday, so.
All right, great.
Just one more thing rather that I'm working on with Derek is the Mac lot, the trash and the recycling. You have the bin area over there. The first thing we're doing is we're doing a little pilot project on recycling. And we're getting 2 6-yard, 4-yard dumpsters from Hughes, which they will service twice a week. They'll provide the dumpster and serve them twice a week for $150 a month, which I think we're going there 3 times a week with it. And so we can't do it for what we can pay them. And we think it'll be a better situation rather than have everything piled on the ground and what have you. So it's a 6-month, they wanted 6 months to make it.
That's fantastic, Frank, thanks
So,
for
no, yeah, so
that.
we talked about this, and I told him to go ahead and do it, because it makes sense to me. Now, I think that we should be thinking about having the business people pay for their trash and stuff. So, I mean, this is a conversation we gotta talk about, but
It is a
part of
conversation,
this
because-
pilot that we're trying is, we're gonna do it our first and see if it works, but the other part of that Mac lot issue is, I really would like to see the gates come back to that facility somehow too, because it just looks horrible. But the biggest issue, I think, is why you guys did this was because of how bad it was
Well,
getting.
I think we could maybe even gain another parking space back if there's room for those, and it's being cleaned, emptied, I mean, and serviced as frequently. All of what's gathering on the ground and being held up by the fencing shouldn't be an issue. So hopefully this pilot and trial will show that maybe we can
Maybe.
make that space smaller. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I think the issue was they have to pick it up all by hand, like they were just throwing it in
yeah,
there,
no,
and our
it's-
guys had to come and pick it all up by hand and put it in and it's a mess.
So
So-
that's one thing that's a definite try. But so Derek and I were talking today, and I'll take the responsibility just in case it goes bad.
To get back to the other dumpster.
Frank's idea.
Yeah, exactly. It was all him. When he's gone, we'll start.
Right, we'll blame him for all the bad stuff we did.
But
Thanks, Frank.
I talked to Hughes today, and those containers should be here by the end of the week or so. But I told him, hold off until I do a little damage control. So I don't know when the next merchant meeting is, but it might be helpful to
Yeah, I was
get
gonna
a
have to
few
get the word
guidelines
out
down,
to
because
them.
the process is gonna have to change a little bit. Breaking down boxes and all that's gonna have to
We
happen.
have to get the word out to the residents too.
August
On the
26th.
And then the 26th,
Yeah, I'll,
can you get me on that?
I'll get you on that.
And I think Stacy brings up a good point, so we need to be thinking about how we're gonna put this out, because the residents use that too, correct? That recycling?
Absolutely, they do.
So we need to
All day,
we
every
need to
day.
do some sort of outreach to them to say, look, we're doing a trial period for, right, I don't know. So that's something we need to put on our radar.
Okay, well then we'll do that then. And we had actually talked about that, but I guess I kind of jumped ahead.
Well, the dumpsters, because they're dumpsters, it's also gonna be confusing, if they don't realize that it's for recycling, and that they shouldn't be putting bags of things in there, it should all be loose, I assume.
That was the other thing that needs to
Some
be brought up too,
education.
is that Carroll County is really adamant about no bags
Absolutely.
in the recycle stream.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. While we're on
Bags and
TV tonight, to let people know that, to please check the Carroll County list
Yeah.
for what is recyclable and try to
More often
follow
what
that.
isn't
Yeah, I mean, be reasonable, man. You can't throw a lawn chair out in the
Right.
trash and just
Just
because
because
it's got
it's
some
made of
plastic
plastic,
on it.
right.
Right. I mean, it just doesn't work. So we put it in our newsletter. We've got it on our website. Carroll County's got it on their website. So please, please, please check and see what the items are recyclable and adhere to that list, because it's really messing up the whole system with these contaminated.
And
recyclables.
right now, the bags are the.
I was gonna say, all grocery store bags, from Walmart, from Kohl's, from every grocery store, cannot go into your recycling, but they can be recycled at the
At
grocery
the store.
stores.
Yeah,
Or don't get them in the first place and take a reusable bag with you.
which is better.
And there's a bit of confusion when the word bag comes up, because recyclables are not to be put in bags anymore, period.
Correct.
Not just garbage or grocery store bags, but no bags, period. So we haven't quite got to the point of refusing the stuff, but it's gonna get to that point. And the town has cleaned it up quite a bit. We're not getting in nearly the slack that we used to from the recycle center at Northern, so
Oh, good,
it's much better.
good.
So the other thing was, there's a number of dumpsters down there. We're trying to make sure they're built equitably, but we have a problem down there. We're trying to do that, and we get pushback because someone says, "Oh, I only put a little bit out, and now I'm being charged for this much." And so, we're trying to figure out another way to go with that. And so we were talking about perhaps putting in a compactor instead of having 5 of those dumpsters in. And then this would kind of go to your point, Councilman, that then we can free up some space.
Yes.
What it would take though, that would definitely take a cooperative effort with all the merchants and a building of consensus that that's a way they want to go. And the benefit is, that Derek was telling me it's like 3 to 1, you know, so if you take the trash and that 5 dumpsters would take up, and you can smash it down into one compactor, and then, so your space is a lot, you know, a lot less. But we're gonna do a paper evaluation. Does the economics of it make sense? And then if the economics make sense, then we'll go and maybe talk to the folks and say, the economics of this makes sense. Are you willing to support it? And then we could do sort of what you're talking about, because right now you can't put gates on that down there with all these dumpsters and pulling them in and out and all that stuff. It really would be a big deal. But if you do this, it might work. So this is just an idea. We're just kicking it around. And like I said, we just started talking about it once we kind of thought about this other dumpster thing for this recycling. So we're gonna do a paper evaluation. Do the economics of it even come close to working? And if they do, then we'll ask your permission to pursue it a little further. But we're thinking.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for working on that. And so Frank's did an amazing job as our interim manager, so I can't thank you enough, Frank. You've just been, I mean, some of the development stuff, we've just been so lucky to have him here to be able to, it's been a blessing, so thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I was just gonna ask if he was gonna stick around as assistant town manager.
Yeah, well, I told him we might need to be calling you on occasion for some consulting, as,
I think so.
he's been willing to be flexible. He's
So
might be able to help us out a little.
Carrie's sitting right here, but I'll just mention a few things and then she can jump in if she wants. We do have an opening at the post office, and she did a posting on what was it? Indeed. And we've got like just an incredible number of responses.
Wow.
So we'll be screening that and trying to make a hire there. But I've had Carrie working on a couple of special projects. One is she's evaluating document management for the town here, and you know, what system we might want to use, and is it an alternative to the idea of conditioning the attic of this building as opposed to going to archiving with electronic document management system. So she's taking the lead on evaluating that, and we're also evaluating our tech support. You know, do we want to continue to what we're doing now? Do we want to change the direction with our technical support and our whole system here? So it's kind of two things that I wanted to kind of do a top to bottom evaluation of what's here, and then do we want to stay with what we're doing now, or do we want to try and take a leap to another way of doing things? And so she's going to be taking the lead on that, so we appreciate that. So that's one of the things that'll transcend my time here. So I just want to she'll be into it deep when the new town manager comes. So that's what I have.
Yeah, no, that's awesome too. So, and we've got a great staff. All the staff is awesome. So, and Carrie, thank you so much she always gets our stuff posted and keeps us relevant, and it's pretty awesome. So.
By the way, I appreciate that. I like that update, the report you just gave us a lot, and the format of it. That's very helpful.
Right. No, so we're going to try to, of course, each manager has their own different spin, but I think we've indicated we like doing that, and they've done a good job. I mean, Aretha was pretty good at it, so. We're going to make sure that the new manager does that. And Frank's going to be here a little bit to help the new manager. I think you don't want to get under their feet, but he knows the right mix of helping and then letting them do the job. So we're going to work on that too. So anything else? Any other comments? You guys got any other thoughts, comments? Okay. Yep. So we're going to read all right, so the meeting is proposed to be closed pursuant to the general provisions of the annotated code of Maryland, section 3-305B1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction, or any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. And tonight is the personnel discussion of the town manager candidates and its confidential personnel information. So we're going to discuss that, and that was the only item on our closed session agenda this evening.
Motion for a 10-minute recess.
About 11 minutes.
Well, yeah,
I
we
thought
need
10
some
was pretty
time
good. It's
for
usually 5.
the community media center to get out. So yeah.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back. So thank you all for
Thank you.
attending.
Thanks.